Hey guys, it's Ellie from TeensVsCancer here today.
Hey guys, Ellie here. I just want to say excuse the poor quality of this video. It was filmed on the wrong setting on my camera, so it didn't turn out as great as I thought, but the content is still good, so I hope you enjoy the video.
And I am joined with my best friend,
Abby!
So today, my friend Abby is actually going to be talking to those of you who have friends with cancer, because obviously she's experienced it with me, so she wants to just give you some tips and advice on how to cope with your friend being diagnosed with cancer.
Okay, so I think my first thing is don't be scared. And I know that sounds mental because when Ellie was first diagnosed I was so scared, but the more we learn about what Ellie had and how she's going to be diagnosed, and I think the thing is, don't be scared in front of your friend, because when you're scared in front of, like when I was scared in front of Ellie got more scared and Ellie got more upset and her anxiety would increase. So if you are scared, talk to someone else. Like, talking to your friend is always good, but talking to someone else, like your parents or another friend that you know, or a confidant that you know, or like a teacher or something that you know can help you through it. And I know don't be scared sounds like crazy because your best friend's got cancer, but I think when you're with them, their anxiety is going to be really high at the beginning, especially at the beginning, and like making them more scared and more anxious than they are isn't helpful. My second piece of advice is to not get offended, because I think when they first get diagnosed especially, they're so ill and the chemo is so harsh. Even when they are at home, if they cancel plans or they say they can't do something one day, don't get offended by it, because although you have got plans aren't set in stone. Hopefully you can keep with your plans, and if not, you can rearrange them and do them another day, like ring them instead or do something else. And if they're in hospital, text them and use social media. Social media is now amazing at keeping people in touch with other people and not being in the same room or in the same country even. But make sure that you don't get offended when one thing can't go the way you'd like it to. Don't let them get isolated, because although they are ill, they are still young and human, and maybe they can't go out and play football or go running with you anymore, but that does not mean that they should be on their own, especially now, because they feel isolated already. When Ellie first came back to school, everyone looked at her differently.
Yeah. And
like no one understood that she just wanted to be spoken to like a normal person, but that made her feel more isolated than not, because like I couldn't spend the time with her that I wanted to when I was at school, because I had 101 other things to sort out and do, and like I had exams to prepare for, but and that what was it?
I don't know. I don't know.
That increases their isolation, but especially when they're first ill as well. Even if they can't come out and see you, or you can't get to their house, text them. Like, I don't know how close you are, but I was really close with Ellie's parents. I always have been. So if Ellie couldn't text me, I'd like ring her mum or ring her sister, because I was so close with her family. I know that's not always possible for everyone, but when Ellie was first diagnosed, especially when she was in hospital and like she was having an operation or she was asleep or something, I'd always ring her mum or text her just to make sure that something wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
And like to make sure that like she wasn't on her own and like nothing was going on. So like isolation is probably one of the hardest things. Well, before Ellie was diagnosed, we used to like take it in turns, because there was 3 of us, which house we'd go to like every few weeks, didn't we? Like 1 week we'd go to mine, a few weeks later we'd come to Ellie's, a few weeks later we'd go to Casey's, and then we just do a rotation. When Ellie was diagnosed, it couldn't happen like that, because not everywhere was clean. Like, although that sounds bad, not everywhere was Ellie clean. And especially with her intensive chemo at the beginning, her immune system was basically nowhere, it wasn't there. So we had to make sure that her house was Ellie clean, and then we took it from there. And now she's got better and better, we can go out to more places, we can go out to more restaurants, like we go out to the cinema a lot more, we can do more like normal teenage things, but at the beginning you can't. But make sure you visit on their terms. These two are kind of linked, the next two, so it's always be supportive and always listen. These two are quite linked, because at the beginning, like, it's so much information And there's lots of like crazy things you'd never ever think you'd know in a friendship. Like, Ellie was so ill that she had to be honest with us, and that me and Casey would sometimes not know what the hell was going on, but we'd always listen and we'd always be supportive of whatever she needed, like whether she needed her mum at that 1 minute and we needed to go out the room, or we needed to stay in the room because she wanted us there, or she needed to tell us information that normal friends don't always tell you. You have to listen. And my final one is, don't betray your friend's confidence. And I know this sounds petty and maybe a little bit immature, but when Ellie was first diagnosed, there was literally like 5 or 6 people in our entire school that knew, other than the teachers. So the teachers knew and they were looking at us differently, me and Casey, and then like we'd all sit together, the people that knew, and talk, and then everyone else would ask, like, where's Ellie? What's wrong with Ellie? Is Ellie okay? And we didn't tell anyone. I never told anyone until Ellie was ready. Ellie told the people she wanted to tell. It was so hard to keep that secret for them 6 days, but I would never do anything different because it was Ellie's story to tell, and it'd always be Ellie's story to tell the way she wanted to tell it and the way she did tell it. I remember I was at a party and then everyone knew, so I got loads of messages and like, I'm really sorry. And I think people, once they know, they do change, and people do bombard you at the beginning when like someone's ill and off school for a while, but then when everyone knows, it's better. But don't tell people before someone else is ready.
Definitely.
Make sure that you're just there for them and no one else.
Yeah, thank you so much, Abby. You've actually been so great. I think you're camera natural, so I'll definitely get her back onto the channel again, because that'll be awesome, because I think you're a really good advocate for friends who have a friend with cancer.
Yes.
Thanks, Abby. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys, and remember that you are stronger than cancer.